Welcome to Lesson 14, David and Absalom. When Amnon, David's oldest son, raped his half-sister Tamar, it sparked trouble in the kingdom and spiraled into a national tragedy. In a fit of rage, Tamar's brother Absalom murdered Amnon, then fled the country for 3 years. Joab advised David to bring Absalom back into the kingdom, and David relented, but on one condition. He did not want to see his son's face, and this made Absalom bitter. Absalom begged Joab to help him see his father, but Joab didn't agree until Absalom burned his field. Joab convinced David to meet with Absalom, and David met and kissed his son. On the surface, David restored peace to the royal family, but treachery festered in Absalom's heart. Absalom, a charismatic and handsome man with luscious thick hair, let his pride and bitterness grow. His anger turned into a covert campaign to overthrow the king, and he campaigned throughout Israel, riding in a magnificent chariot surrounded by 50 men. Anyone who brought complaints for the king to judge met Prince Absalom. He promised to rectify their grievances, claiming the king no longer judged rightly. He held their hand and kissed it, stealing their hearts. After years of blanketing Israel with these lies, he sent criers out to proclaim him king. Spies reported Absalom's revolt to David. The king gathered his officials, household, and soldiers, including foreign allies who remained loyal to David, to evacuate Jerusalem. The people fled, mourning with covered heads as David walked barefoot, leading his people up the Mount of Olives. Priest Zadok and priest Abiathar joined them carrying the Ark of the Covenant, but David asked them to return it to Jerusalem. The Ark belonged to Israel. As the travelers came to the summit, Hushai the Archite, a loyal friend of David, met the king with his coat torn and dust on his head. He planned for his men to protect the king, but David asked him to spy for him. He must present himself as loyal to Absalom, gain his trust, and report Absalom's plans to Zadok and Abiathar. Their sons must report Absalom's plans to David. Hushai agreed to spy for David. As they traveled along the mount, Shimei, an angry man from the house of Saul, hurled stones and insults at David. Abishai, one of the sons of Zeruiah, wanted to cut off Shimei's head, but David told him to leave him alone. If God called this man to curse him, then let him curse the king. Another spy brought terrible news to David. Ahithophel, his most trusted adviser and friend, left him for Absalom. Devastated, the king said, "Lord, turn Ahithophel's counsel into foolishness." David's people fled further into the desert beyond the Jordan to regroup. Like Saul chased after him, now his beloved son Absalom chased David into the desert.